Day 7. It's early in the morning. It's actually before work, and I just had some doubts about what I did as far as alignment before. So I went back and I rechecked everything. Got a lot more clamps on it now, but if I put my machine square on here, this thing's supposed to be exact. You can tell the ball screw's not quite straight with the shell plate. That'd be an issue running the press because it'd run all your brass in crooked. We don't want that. So I'm going to raise the end of the ball screw up, and then I'm going to re-level this rail just to make myself happy. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the level. Just got a couple of these tacked down here. I put my micro gauge on here and I got it set at 0. I'm going to run the ball screw all the way up to this end, slide this carriage all the way up to the end of this rail, and move it until that gauge reads 0 again, and then I should have them perfectly parallel. Ball screw's all the way up now. I've slid it over till it just reads 0. It's really close. Just tapping with my finger here, trying to get it right on 0, but I may not make it. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that's perfectly straight from end to end now. So I've located where this goes. I can clamp it. I would tack it, but I'm just going to clamp it right now because I hate cutting tacks loose. But I'm going to clamp it and carry on with setting that rail, and then adjust the ball screw level. All right, I've checked and rechecked and rechecked and rechecked, and I think it's done. I mean, obviously a lot of clamps everywhere, but I got the square set up here, and I've got it on these 2 big parallel bars, and it's sitting right on top of the ball screw. I'm measuring 0 at the top of the ball screw on both ends, so I really don't think I can get it any better than that. I mean, it's about as perfect as I can do with the equipment I have, and I think it's more than adequate for what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start tacking things down, put the motor on it, and have some fun. Under here you can see the plastic washers I printed. I printed those on purpose because they'll smash, so I can lower this part down by torquing the bolts and get it exactly where it belongs, like right there. So I think I'm ready. Well, got all the foil off. I tacked everything up, got all the foil off that was protecting all the metal parts, and man, it's turned out great. I did get this tacked in, but only here and here. I did have to put a spacer in here because the gap is a little big, but the ball screw end stayed centered with the jig like it's supposed to. The plastic tray held everything in place like it was supposed to. It's actually really stiff. I think just printing a plastic tray and doing the epoxy casting will work great there. Plastic washers down here crushed just like you're supposed to. Everything is turning out great. This ball screw turns super easy, and we'll move this up and down no problem. I just can't move it very fast, so it's not very cool looking when I turn it by hand, but it is moving. You can tell. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and go get the motor, the servo, and attach it down here, and it's going to look pretty ugly. I'm just going to tack together the mount. I decided not to do the block, the mold block, because that's just really difficult. And to be honest, I'm getting kind of antsy because this thing's just turning out so nice. But I'm going to tack together a frame using these long square head bolts. Just going to tack them up here and then put nuts on the end to hold the motor mount. All this is going to get epoxy casted, so you're not going to see any of that. It's going to make the motor mount stiff so it can't torque and twist and things. But anyways, so I'm going to go grab the servo and attach that, and then probably going to take this whole thing into my my office and start writing some code to do some do some movements. I came up with a new bearing plan. I still got to work out a few details. I'll go over that in a little bit, but I'm going to put this motor in, and man, I'm ready to do some programming.